from Pauley Pavilion on the UCLA campus. That sounded funny, didn't it? You should have seen Marcus Johnson's look. There's no mistaking those colors, no mistaking that theme song, and no mistaking the great history and tradition inside. This building, the UCLA students are ready because the Bruins are right back in the hunt in the Pac-10 conference race after a big win Thursday. They try to double it up this afternoon as they entertain the Cougars of Washington State. And we welcome you to Pac-10 Hoops along with Marcus Johnson, Ted Robinson, Mike Leach will join us in a little bit. And that's really the point, Marcus. UCLA responded when it was pushed into a corner Thursday night, but to make that really count, they've got to follow it up today.
Yeah, they do indeed. And Thursday night, Josh Shipp had a terrific game for UCLA shooting the basketball, but I thought the key was Alfred Aboya, his 13 points, 11 rebounds, hitting very timely jump shots down the stretch for that team. And for Washington State, Ted, watching them practice yesterday, Tony Bennett was on his guys. They've had a lot of close defeats. They were in their first 3 road games of the conference and lost 4 in a row. So he wants to try and turn this thing around. I expect Washington State to play a very competitive basketball game this afternoon.
And the frustration, of course, for Washington State after 2 years right at the top of the Pac-10. They've fallen back this year. They're going to wind up in that 7-10 pack and wind up playing likely the first night of the tournament. But for UCLA, 4 teams even in the loss column. For UCLA, they know if they can get through today, got a tough road trip ahead next week.
Yeah, and that's the key, taking it one game at a time. And again, you don't want to rest on your laurels because you played such a great game. Not even a good. That's a little bit of hype. They played a good enough game to win against Washington. They've got to have a much better performance out here again because this is a wounded Cougar basketball team, and I expect them to be efficient. And the style of play of Washington State, the way they slow you down, the deliberate style, 59 possessions per ball game, one of the worst in the country in terms of pacing, is going to really make UCLA have to be patient.
Last year when these teams played here at Pauley Pavilion, they were 4-5 in the country. So it is a different season for Washington State. They do 6 different starting lineups, anchored by some experienced seniors, of course, in Aaron Baines and Taylor Rochester, but the 2 terrific freshmen, Klay Thompson and building freshman Marcus Capers, the same starting 5 for UCLA, 3 seniors as well that are hoping to win 4 consecutive Pac-10 championships and then get a chance to make a 4th consecutive Final Four. And Ben Howland, unlike the Washington series, the only series where Ben Howland trails basically in his UCLA career, is had much the better of things against Washington State. The Bruins have won 9 straight in the matchup against the Cougars. Although the first game in Pullman this year, Tony Bennett's team responded magnificently, and it wound up being a 2-point game that UCLA won. And Josh Shipp, winding down his UCLA career, has ramped it up, playing the best basketball he has in a long time. 53% three-point shooter in conference play.
Yeah, Josh doing a terrific job. But as you talked about, this is the only team Tony Bennett has not beaten, UCLA.
And off the jump, there's a big start for Klay Thompson, who was snuffed in his homecoming game to USC Thursday night.
3rd time in the conference season he hasn't scored in the first half, and it was because of a triangle and 2 defensive alignment. Shocker by Tim Floyd with DeMar DeRozan shadowing Klay Thompson all over the floor. I talked to Michael Thompson before the game. He told his son, just do a better job moving without the basketball and then just knock down the shots you're supposed to knock down.
Well, a great start there for Thompson to get that first one in.
Which is easy to say when you're like the first player selected in the NBA draft and College Player of the Year and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Well, here's the start for Washington State. Drilled their first 2 shots. Now, the Cougars scored 6 points in the first 14 minutes of their game Thursday night. 5 points right out of the chute here.
Well, that's the bad news. The good news, they were tied 6-6 when USC went on that 15-zip run.
Wow. Nikola Dragovic, like Josh Shipp, helping UCLA. Of all things, maybe the most stunning thing about UCLA right now, they lead the Pac-10 in 3-point shooting.
Yeah, and that was supposed to be an area of weakness, but because of Nikola Dragovic and the way he has shot the basketball, remember he had the 6 3-pointers in Pullman against Washington State, all 6 of those coming in the first half. And it was the reason why UCLA gave Washington State its largest deficit at 13 points of any game this season. But it was Nikola Dragovic's quick release shooting the basketball, which he developed because he played against taller and older European players his entire life and has had to kind of find a way to get his shot off. Now all of a sudden he's 6'9", with that quick release, it's unblockable.
Here's the thing. Dragovic is just a great-looking shooter. You watch him in practice or pre-games, I mean, he just barely hits rim.
Speaking of great-looking shooters, I mean, he's got that perfect form where the basketball is brought up right over the right knee. The elbow is locked, perfectly aligned with the basket. I mean, he is one of the, in terms of technique, best-looking shooters around, Klay Thompson.
Nice setup. Boy, Drew Holiday did that beautifully.
And look at Matt Woodley as he holds up an offensive play on the sideline. They worked extensively, Washington State, in practice. That little exchange out front, the switching, but the awareness that Dragovic had better be gotten to quickly on a switch, or if you're getting through whatever you're going to do, but Washington State hadn't done it.
And here's what UCLA does so well there at Pauley Pavilion, Marcus. If they turn you, they make you pay.
And Washington State, 9th in the country, 11 turnovers per game. Usually a pretty good team in terms of taking care of the basketball. That game in Pullman, I think just 11 total turnovers for that game between these two teams.
But the turnover story is interesting in this matchup because UCLA leads the Pac-10 in turnover margin. As Rochester gets the one difference between your turnovers and the other teams. Washington State's last. As little as they turn the ball over, they're forcing even fewer from their teams. They're last in the conference in turnover margin.
That gives you an idea of just how conservatively they play defense. They don't gamble. It's all about position. They don't attack the offensive glass. They get 4 guys back.
And one Aboya. Another assist for Drew Holiday. Foul on Caleb Forrest of Washington State.
Nice find, nice job by Aboya to make himself available, kind of sneak it along the baseline. But what a game he had on Thursday night, and the big shot when Washington was threatening had closed the lead to 3-4 points down the stretch. He knocks down a 17-foot jump shot with about 6 seconds on the shot clock. That was a big momentum-sustaining play by Alfred Aboya.
After one of the best halftime IVs you probably could ever give. Whatever they...
And talk about his effectiveness as a center. I mean, only Kevin Love over the last few years has been a more effective center. We're talking Ryan Hollins is playing in the NBA. Lorenzo Mata, very tough defensive player, rebounder inside. Alfred Aboya has given UCLA just as much or more than anybody except for Kevin Love's season last year.
Well, we talk about whatever Klay Thompson heard from Pop, from Coach, from anybody else yesterday worked.
And talking to Michael Thompson, his dad, he also told him, you know, you're doing all this great movement with the ball. When you catch it, look to shoot it. You know, Michael gets all the time. Shoot the ball. Boy, don't just hold the ball and don't do anything. Shoot the ball. Look to shoot it.
There's a Collison turnover. Michael Thompson is here watching play as he was at USC Thursday night. We'll hear from Michael, who is a radio analyst for the Lakers. We'll hear from him later. There's a setup. Thompson sets up Forrest. Now Washington State made 6 of its first 7 shots.
I told you this team was focused. I mean, it was one of the more intense, focused practices I've seen of any team this entire season, especially on that day in between games on that Friday.
And, well, they've got to start with some life, does Washington State today. Making 6 of its first 7 shots on a UCLA team feeling much better about life after Thursday night, Michael Eaves.
Yeah, Ted, that's right. You know, before that game Thursday against Washington, Ben Howland said that was the biggest game of the year, and they certainly played like it. If they want to keep this string of consecutive Pac-10 championships alive, they had to get into a tie in the loss column with Washington. They accomplished that goal. But Josh Schmidt told me that win went even further than that because some of the younger guys didn't understand the significance of how big that road trip was to the Arizona schools. Of course, they lost both of those games. They said it gave us a little bit of our confidence back after some of the younger guys lost faith. But if you look here at their tournament resume, 20-6, 9-4 in the Pac-10, RPI very strong. But that win over Washington, guys, was their only win versus a ranked team this season. So not only trying to keep this string of Pac-10 championships alive, but getting a really good seed in the Pac-10 tournament. The last 3 years they've been to the Final Four. They were either 1 or 2 seed in the West region.
Yeah, Michael, it's a long shot to happen this year to get a seed that high for UCLA. Whatever happens, the Bruins, what do you think, Marcus?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, especially where they are right now. I mean, if they can run the table in impressive fashion, run the table in the Pac-10 tournament in impressive fashion, I think still you may be looking at a 3 seed, possibly a 2, depending on what happens with some of the other schools that are ahead of them right now.
I think what the Bruins would love right now is just to make sure at least the first weekend they could stay in the West, whatever their seed is. Klay Thompson took an extra step there, ducking underneath Josh Shipp.
I like the aggressiveness that Klay Thompson has come out and exhibited here in this game after going 2 for 13, being locked down by DeMar DeRozan of USC Thursday night. He has responded exceptionally well.
Michael Roll, the only change after the first time out, in for UCLA. Shipp missing, and Aaron Baines clears it for Washington State. So Michael Roll in for Drew Holiday, the only sub.
1-4 set. Gives Taylor Rochester a lot of room to operate. If he likes to, he doesn't, and the turnover ensues.
Well, this is it. Oh, what a great catch with the left hand by Dragovic.
You asked me Thursday night, Ted, did I think Dragovic would develop into this kind of a player? I thought this kind of a player was the furthest thing from his potential. When I saw him as a freshman, I thought it was a wasted scholarship. But what are they doing with this guy? But obviously the coaching staff, Scott Garson, Donnie Daniels, the assistant saw something.
Absolutely. Nice feed. Well, Baines felt the double and found Forrest.
And that's bad weak side defense for UCLA, which is usually a much better team at sagging that weak side defender to protect the basket, but a nice find indeed by Aaron Baines over the top.
Shipp takes it.
And Josh Shipp quietly winding down his senior year in spectacular fashion, if that's possible. He's having just a whale of a finish. Dunks and jumpers and tough shots like that, and playing solid defense out on the perimeter.
Nice feed, boy. Rochester sets up Baines and one.
I'm telling you, there's a feeling about this Washington State team that I got watching them practice yesterday, the intensity that Tony Bennett approached that practice session with. And you're talking about Josh Shipp and how well he is playing. Weaves and winds his way to the basket, and that's just a great high degree of difficulty finish. Speaking of finishes, nice job, strong finish off the find by Taylor Rochester. Tony Bennett's got these guys ready.
Yes.
He reminded me of an NBA coach when I've watched him practice before, kind of a player's coach and kind of talking and firm, but more of a friend to the guys. Yesterday he reminded me of Dick Bennett. Watching Dick Bennett's practices. No nonsense, chewing guys out when they need to be chewed out, just kind of staying right in them.
And that's an interesting contrast, Marcus, because we spent a lot of time here Thursday talking about how Ben Howland was up at a time where his team had been pounded last weekend, was almost had backed off just a little bit.
Ben Howland's practice that we attended Thursday, that was the loosest that I've seen Coach Howland, and I mean that in a positive vein, but we're talking about Dick Bennett. There's Coach Bennett, the inventor of the blocker-mover scheme offensively that we see a lot of teams, especially in the Midwest run. We think about him as a defensive guy, but offensively he's brought some innovations to the game of college basketball also. Coach Howland kind of joking with his guys, smiling, laughing on Thursday.
That's over the back on Baines, I believe. Or did that go out of bounds? All right, no foul. I thought the official scores are asking as well. They thought that was a foul signal.
Aaron Baines looks great. I mean, he's dropped about 20 pounds since last season. He's quicker on his moves. He's quicker off his feet. Defensively able to slide his feet a little better. Though you wouldn't know it from him trying to defend Darren Collison off that high screen.
Collison got inside. Changes both ways now. Aaron Baines going to sit. Washington State makes its first change. D'Angelo Casto, freshman from Spokane, whose game has stepped it up lately. A very big game at USC Thursday night. D'Angelo Casto is our Motel 6 sixth man of the game. Motel 6, proud sponsor of the Pac-10 Conference, will leave the light on for you.
And modest scoring 4 points a game. But what he does out there, he rebounds, becomes a defensive presence on the inside in terms of shot blocking, changing shots. And you better box him out because he can get to the offensive glass.
Nikola Popovica also in the game for Washington State as Rochester got the lane, but just pulled the string on the floater. Now Collison running with roll. That was a 2-on-3, and UCLA took it.
Great job stopping at the free throw line. No over-penetration by Darren Collison, and then Michael Rowe wired it hard, high, and strong from that right wing into the bucket. But you're right, UCLA was actually at a disadvantage in numbers.
Freshman on freshman there, Drew Holiday with the assignment.
These two guys, Holiday, Thompson, played with each other the past couple of years on the same AAU ball club in Southern California. But there is a high degree of familiarity between the two.
And on the way in, a foul called. Drew Holiday, frustrated, thought he played pretty good defense, whistled for a foul. So Washington State out to a good start. Klay Thompson with 7 points. We'll hear on Klay from Dad coming back. Straight-Forth told us what he thinks his son needs to improve.
Just get stronger. Like most freshmen, he needs to build up his body and get in the weight room so he can absorb the punishment and the contact when he goes to the basket a little bit better. Because he's got other facets of the game down. Of course, he'll get better with experience, but he just definitely needs to get in the weight room and start pumping up.
Now here's part of the 4. These really are the top 4 freshmen of this Pac-10 season.
Isaiah Thomas, DeMar DeRozan, Drew Holiday, the other 3. But interesting with Michael Thompson, he says that Klay gets his athleticism from mom, Julie, who was a gymnast and heptathlete in high school and college at USF.
There's Klay Thompson. Quick 3, 10 points.
Tap that.
And you look at that body. And I'm going to tell you, I thought Michael was right on with what he said, Marcus, because we've talked about this before. Klay Thompson, to me, I feel like I'm looking at Landry Fields of Stanford 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good. But you know, even Landry Fields of Stanford 2 years ago was averaging about 3 points a game, 2 points a game.
Right.
You know,
I'm talking about just the body.
But this kid, you throw in Landry Fields' where he has metamorphosized his body and game. You put that on Klay Thompson's skill level right now. Landry's averaging about 11, 12 points a game. This kid will be up and around that 20, 21, 22 point scoring average. But again, I say that. And I slow down when I say it because this is Washington State. It's like dog years. I mean, you're averaging 13 points a game. That's about, you put 5 points on top of that. That's about 18 points a game for, you know, if you're playing someplace else where a team is getting more than 59 possessions per game.
That's so true. But your point, we're on the same page there. If Klay Thompson can develop his body the way Landry Fields of Stanford has this year, you're talking about a national award player.
Wow, he's on one.
13 for Klay Thompson.
He is on one indeed. And Dad's advice before the game when I talked to Michael again, it was like, you're doing a great job moving. You're doing a great job getting your feet set. Now, don't hold the ball. Shoot the ball, son, if you're open. He is doing that. He's not forcing shots except for maybe the one runner where he traveled. Other than that, it's been all in the framework of their team.
And Holiday hangs in the air, draws the foul for UCLA. I know all the great Cougar fans up north are sitting there, and if you're just flipping the TV on, they're looking at the screen. What? 25 points, 10 minutes to go in the first half?
Exactly. And again, watching this team and watching the attitude that Tony Bennett, that's what I love about Tony Bennett, he kind of gives and plugs in whatever kind of persona he needs to with this team. Just a terrific young coach, 25 wins his first 2 seasons, kind of struggled this year, but he came at him with the right approach. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm tired of patting you on your behind. It's time now to kick you a little bit in your rear end when you need it. But this team has responded in time. And I'm not just talking about the freshman Klay Thompson. He went after the seniors yesterday in practice. Aaron Baines, Taylor Rochester. You look, defend. Aaron Baines, grab the ball. No excuses. I'm tired of excuses. Let's get the job done.
Well, if you remember last year's game, as Malcolm Lee, freshman, checks in for UCLA, first appearance. Last year's game here, UCLA was 4 in the country, Washington State was 5 in the country, and UCLA smothered the Cougars at the start. And it was only in the final 4 minutes the Cougars put on a flurry of three-point shooting to make the game respectable.
Yeah, I remember the three-point fest, Derek Lowe and crew.
Harmelink, exact opposite start for Washington State this year in the game.
Yeah, and Washington State, even in Pullman, again, that was a 2-point game. Washington State's basketball with a chance to win or tie it up and send it into overtime. Marcus Capers missed the jumper at the buzzer, but they have the confidence that they could beat UCLA. It's not like this is a surprise to them.
Nice body control inside by Castro. Washington State's doing this. They've only been to the foul line for 1 shot.
Very business-like, focused, laser-sharp focus by this Washington State team defensively so far. Dragovich was able to free himself for a couple of jumpers early. Now he's got a defender right in his face.
Dragovich on a drive, and he gets fouled.
And does the smart thing. That defender is Aaron Baines. Aaron Baines out there trying to move his feet on the perimeter 20 feet from the basket is a lot tougher than the post movement defensively that he's accustomed to. And Dragovic takes advantage and gets to the free throw line.
As Dragovic shoots there, you just saw a quick shot there that was significant. As UCLA has taken Darren Collison out for the first time and put in freshman guard Jeremy Anderson, who really basically had his college basketball baptism here Thursday night.
Clock cleaned.
Yep. 7 minutes, 5 turnovers.
Taken to school, ripped extensively.
Darren Collison pulled him aside after the game in the locker room, talked to him, told him, listen, it happened to me, it happens to everybody, you got to hang in there. And just talking to the UCLA coaches today, they all said, look, Ben Howland would put him in the game earlier today because he knows Anderson needs to get back right on the court.
Yeah, and get back in the saddle, get your confidence back, and slow down. And don't try and make a play happen every time you get the basketball. It's okay to back it out, retreat, dribble, get this team into the offense like he is doing right here in this possession.
Boy, I got caught out upon a foul on the baseline move, and Tony Bennett real upset.
And I can
Bain second.
Well, I agree with you with Tony Bennett being upset because Alfred Boy, his antics, his animation. There was some contact. He was bumped, but was it enough? There's a bump by Baines, but a boy like screams and looks at the ref and makes no attempt to make a play with the basketball whatsoever. I mean, this is college basketball. That contact is going to happen between the bigs on the inside.
Dave Libby, Mark Reichling, Michael Greenstein, the crew here today. And that's a 5 count. Turnover. Ben Howland.
Ben Howland's like, are you counting by twos, Dave Libby, or what's you're like 1, 2, 5? Some new math going on out here. Malcolm Lee has the task to try to be the fireman and put out the heat, which is Michael Thompson's son, Klay Thompson.
You know, Rochester, that little gift he's got there, Marcus, I like it. His ability to gather himself and hold the ball as he did there. And you see this a lot. Defenders peel away, and suddenly he's got a nice little easy 8-footer.
Their momentum keeps carrying in the direction that they've slid to try and cut him off. The contact inside against Josh Shipp in that call.
This is not a Washington State style of game, but they're happy right now because they're just blitzing shots, turnovers, bodies on the floor. UCLA out with it. Shipp going in. Well, there are 4 white shirts around that basket there, but Washington State got the rebound.
The entire Washington State bench up and applauding at the effort, diving on the floor for loose balls, something else that Tony Bennett really stressed yesterday. Marcus Capers in practice made a great dive that time in practice. That wasn't Marcus Capers in, it was Casto, but that's what Tony Bennett wants from this team.
So then, Marcus, you're talking about the Tony Bennett that was a little tough, who was giving him a kick in the collective rears yesterday, and there was the support of Tony Bennett.
Yeah, and a great kind of, you talk about a doctor with the bedside manner. Tony Bennett as a coach knows, he's got his fingers on the pulse of this basketball team. He knows them better than anybody.
All right, this is our HTC Fuse timeout. The HTC Fuse has full internet, which allows access to foxsports.com for scores and highlights. Grab a video highlight from today's game. You can share it live during calls. The HTC Fuse, experience the reaction. Pauley Pavilion on the UCLA campus. I got it right this time. Some days you wake up and say, where'd that come from?
It's all good.
I don't
Trust
know.
me.
I personally, Marcus, I was worried today how UCLA was going to react to this late start on Saturday. 2 weeks ago, they played 10 a.m. here against Notre Dame. Last Saturday, 11 a.m. in Arizona. They got to sleep in this morning.
It's 10 a.m. Pacific time. You're right. UCLA now trying to ratchet up the level of their defensive intensity. Hands more active, going to try and force some turnovers from a team that really turns it over, Washington State.
Left-hander Rochester got all the way in, but here's Aboya, avoided the charge. Collison avoids a charge, and then Shipp gets hammered. But 2 good body control plays there by UCLA, where Cougar defenders are ready to take one.
Then you got to do the Washington State. You can't be rushed, but this young man, Klay Thompson, at least this afternoon, never rushed, never in a hurry, and his jump shot, a thing of beauty to behold. Terrific form, holding that thing right above the right knee, everything in alignment. Klay Thompson shooting so sweet. Makes me want to say, Yaka! Talking to my friends in the Midwest around this time of year when it's about 70, 75 outside. Out at the pool, lounging, glasses, sunglasses on.
I got out about 7:30 this morning to run here, and it was nice. And I said, I know why. My man Marcus lives here. Josh Shipp at the line. Washington State has shot 75% to start the game, but now comes a challenge because the foul that put Shipp at the line was D'Angelo Casto's second, and he's now on the bench alongside Aaron Baines. Both big men have 2 fouls. So Charlie Enquist, who doesn't play much, has had to come off the bench.
6'10", 222-pound redshirt freshman at Edmonds, Washington. So, what do you want to do if you're Charlie Enquist? Play good position defense. You're the blocker. You set the screens in their offense. And just don't try and make any mistakes.
Thompson held, but still came up short. Policy back. Nice dump down low. Boyle challenged foul on Enquist. So UCLA is managing to get that ball in to the rim, Marcus, and get fouls on the big men.
And I just like the way overall this team is looking more for Alfred Aboya as an offensive factor for this team. If they are to do anything this year comparable to what they've done the last 2 years, and it's going to be tough, Aboya's got to continue to provide them with some offense on the inside.
And more on Aboya now, Michael Eaves.
Yeah, Ted, Marcus, as you were talking about Alfred Aboya's offense, I was talking to him before the game about that. You look at some of the numbers, how he has progressed since his freshman year. He's been a lot more aggressive in his offensive game because he has confidence. If you go all the way back to his freshman year, he didn't play very much, but that's following summer. He played for the Cameroon national team. He was the leading scorer on the team. He said, you know what, that told me that I really was capable of scoring. I just needed more opportunities. Now that Kevin Love is gone, Luc Richard-Mbah-a-Moute is gone, he is the only scoring presence from that block, and he's taken a lot more aggressive approach to it. We've definitely seen it the last 5 or 6 games.
I'll tell you what a lot of people don't realize is that when the 2 Cameroonians came to UCLA, Luc Richard-Mbah-a-Moute, Alfred Aboya was the more highly regarded of the 2. Sustained an ankle injury that offseason before his freshman year, so he never really got into a groove. But that's who everybody was talking about in terms of the Wooden Center and the pros and the men's gym when they had those summer off-season basketball workouts. It was Alfred Aboya that impressed more than Luc Richard-Mbah-a-Moute.
Where would UCLA be right now if Aboya had not come back this year? Because he graduated. Collison draws a foul. Aboya is in graduate school right now getting his public policy degree. He wants to use it eventually to get into politics, he says, back in Cameroon. And so could you imagine if Aboya, he's made himself irreplaceable if he had left along with that trio.
Wow, and you see the kind of players, and those are great college numbers, 18 and 10 and 13 points, and Luc Richard-Mbah-a-Moute, they're playing even more effective basketball on the professional level. Kevin Love, just a consistent double-double since he's been inserted into the starting lineup. Luc Richard-Mbah-a-Moute has been an on and off again starter for the Milwaukee Bucks, their defensive lockdown guy. And now Russell Westbrook's name is being thrown out there along with Derrick Rose, O.J. Mayo as a potential Rookie of the Year candidate. He won't win it, but his name is in that mix with those other 2 guys. And speaking of Aboya, I got a laugh out of him. They talk about Darren Collison mentioned to Josh Shipp that he's from Africa, that he's got this toughness about him. He tells those guys, he tells them all the time that he hunts buffalo with his bare hands.
Aboya does.
Yeah. He's from the city. He's never seen a buffalo in his life. And that's the story that he tells them. And the freshmen believe him.
I was going to say, yeah. You answer that YouTube. I don't believe it until I see it on YouTube.
Yeah, right. Like the Russell Buffalo.
Rochester tried to dump it in for Enquist. And here comes UCLA out with it. David Harmelin is in for the first time. Washington State's in some serious trouble. That's going to really hurt them.
How do you leave Alfred Aboya? How do you not locate a guy 6'8.5", 250 pounds with Charlie Enquist? That's what I talked about, not making the mental errors. He was trying to stop the basketball. It was Harmelin who was down there also. Washington
State's interior defense is all sitting on the bench right now. Well, a nice soft roll for Thompson. You got Caleb Forrest, D'Angelo Casto, and Aaron Baines all have 2 fouls. Now Tony Bennett's going to send Baines back in the game.
He's going to take the gamble there. Aaron Baines can keep his hands to himself and not create that can commit that 3rd foul.
And Enquist has 2 fouls. Everybody's got 2.
And boy, the aggressor offensively.
Exactly.
Ben Howland's team, particularly this year, I don't remember the last couple of years, Ted, of them doing it as much, but they shot fake every catch on the perimeter. Just as it's a part of what they teach at UCLA this season. And it's just amazing how many guys defensively get themselves out of position by not so much jumping to block the shot, but just kind of extending their arms, moving their body a little closer, and then Alfred Boy able to swing through, get to the dribble, get the dribble to get to the rim. But it's from that shot fake. If you watch him, every time he catches, it's shot fake.
There's Oboya's numbers that just got better during conference. But I asked him today. Oh, that's the best. Asked him today, best game you played. And he laughed, and he didn't have to think very long. He said, Notre Dame, 2 weeks ago today. Not only did he have 19 points in that game, and he held Luke Herringody to 5 points and 1 rebound.
Yeah, and just again, looked like a player who could play at the next level based on some kind of individual performances this season. 20-plus point games for Alfred Boya. But his intensity, his improved offense, I mean, he'll definitely get a look. But I suspect he's not really overly concerned about all that. He's just enjoying this senior year and the college experience.
Baines going right at him, Boya. So Baines gets his second basket.
Got to double Aaron Baines right away. You can't allow Alfred Boya to be stranded down there on an island like that against Aaron Baines, who's got great footwork and great jump foot going middle.
Here, UCLA, here, would you go right at Baines?
I think he should, but again, college basketball, a lot of times, unless it's someone with an NBA approach, teams just kind of stay with their player and until they get something good out of it.
And Rochester upset because Dragovic went from behind, snagged that rebound, put it back in, and Rochester very upset. No call. Dragovic has 11 in the first half. Thompson comes up 5 feet short. Malcolm Lee got out of the leak, and he'll get to the line.
Well, that's the second shot. Malcolm Lee is bothered.
And he's going to get a chance to be
33-31. But Nikola Dragovic, I tell you, he is the reason why UCLA has been able to lead the Pac-10 in three-point shooting. And again, talking to him before the game, older guys all his life he had to play against as a young player. That meant he had to get the ball off quickly. That explains the quick release, but he's given them just more than shooting. It's been rebounding, it's been defense. It's been a pretty well-rounded game by Nikola Dragovic.
And more on Dragovic, Michael Eaves.
Yeah, Ted, Marcus was talking earlier about how Dragovic had so little production his first year. He went through a huge bout of culture shock, new habits. He didn't have his family here support, and his family is very big in his native Serbia, Montenegro. He said, that was really important to me to have my family around and go through this process of learning a new language. When he first enrolled at UCLA, he knew enough English to pass a standardized test, but once he got into the competitive environment of the classroom and also going through practices, a lot of times he was a few steps behind in what Ben Howland was trying to get the guys to do. It was a huge culture shock for him, but now that he's a little more established, Marcus, I think we're starting to see that talent you were talking about finally come to fruition.
Yeah, and he did a great job, Michael, also just on his body this summer. He dropped about 15, 20 pounds, and stayed in the gym, toned it up, made himself a little quicker off his feet, got in great condition, which you have to be to play Ben Howland's type of defense.
Dragovic sitting right now. His Serbian friend, Nikola Koprivic, is on the floor for Washington State. Look at that smothering defense, and what a terrific job by Baines to get through it.
Mom and Dad here from Australia is seeing Aaron Baines play for the first time as a collegiate player. Have got to just love that, the way he was able to shoehorn himself through that tough two-man double team, big to big by UCLA, James Cook and Drew Gordon. Washington State doing the same thing. Gordon able to shoehorn himself right back at you. One shoehorn to another.
And this is, in this first half, you're seeing Malcolm Lee contributing a little bit. Drew Gordon. Anderson played. The next wave for UCLA as Rochester drains a 2.
And for Washington State, as poorly as they came out against USC, Tony Bennett has got to love the fact that this team has shown a lot of toughness. They're making plays. Their confidence is sky high, and they feel like they can hang in here and put themselves in a position to win this game. You can just tell by their body language. Good defensive play by Taylor Rochester.
That's the tough pass when the postman double tries to throw the pass across himself.
But that's the one you want. That defender becomes like a free safety, just reading the eyes of the quarterback.
And now Rochester draws a foul.
And watch the double team. There's just nowhere to go, you would think. But Aaron Baines makes something out of nothing as he just forces his way through. And then there are the parents for Aaron Baines, Martin and Barbara Baines. They're from Cairns,
Australia.
Cairns, Australia, Cairns.
Marcus.
It looks like Cairns, C-A-I-R-N-S.
That's an effort. I mean, that's, like a 16-hour flight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an effort.
Well, and
good for them.
Mom, a registered nurse, and they're going to stick around for a while and be a part of this final act of Aaron Baines' senior year. So
that's good.
Good for them.
Well, you make that flight over, you better stay a while. Taylor Rochester, Washington State, after those Rochester free throws, they've only had 3 free throws in this first half. UCLA has had 17. The Cougars mired in foul trouble, but they still have the lead.
Yeah, and still doing a nice job again, making sure the game kind of stays at their pace. UCLA's had a couple of transition opportunities off of turnovers.
Collison and one. And that's Baines' third foul.
Yeah, and Darren Collison is so tough. But Alfred Aboya's screen at the top is the thing that springs him free. And Collison is just so good with the dribble low to the ground. And Aaron Baines obviously has to take a seat.
It's funny, Marcus, you referenced this earlier. And watching Tony today, now he's starting to look a lot like his dad. Tony Bennett.
Kind of working the sidelines.
He is really, he's emotional. He's not thrilled with the fouls on his team.
Just a tough mix of seniors. There's a little split screen action for you to see the similarities.
Good screen to get Rochester 3. Wow, Rochester with 12. What a shooting half. And that is what is keeping Washington State around here, keeping them in front. They're shooting 71% in the first half.
Taylor Rochester's good struggle. Oh, nice find by Nikola Dragovic. I was going to say Koprivica. Too many Nikolas running around the Pac-10. But Dragovic, he faked a shovel pass out front that just froze all the defenders, then did a nice job with a wraparound bounce pass inside to Aboya.
Rochester gave up a shot. So did Koprivica. And then a turnover. Thompson thought Rochester was going to cut baseline. Collison got in. And Clarkson over Pasto. Pasto falls on top of Collison. They're slow to get up. Last possession. Terrific arc on that ball by Collison.
Yeah, that reminds me of that Drew Holiday shot we saw, I think, against USC at the Galen Center. Just get it up to the top of the back over the left hand.
Rochester finds Harmeling. Thompson, give it up. Rochester. Well, that was well done. Everything but the shot. Everything but the make.
Everything but the make. Good execution, good patience as normal by Washington State. Here's Collison going left, and watch the left-hand delivery. Gets it up at the top of the square where Casto with his 40-inch vert at 6'8" cannot get to it. Comes down, a little wet, nothing but nylon. Darren Collison, nice play.
Well, that is a season high in points for a half by Washington State. Yet the best it gets him is a tie here at the half at 42. We'll preview a Pac-10 gem tomorrow night, as well as recap our first half here when we return to Pauley Pavilion. Washington State and UCLA even at the half. Pavilion all tied up. Feedback from the coaches now as we go to Michael Eaves.
Yeah, Ted, I said to Tony Bennett, I said, I thought this was supposed to be a defensive struggle, and he laughed. He said, how about that? But he said, we got to stop them from getting in transition. Not so much that they scored 6 fast break points, but instead it gave them a lot of momentum every time they got one of those fast break buckets. Also, obviously getting the ball inside a little too easily, 22 points in the paint. Of course, he said foul trouble had a lot to do with that. As far as UCLA is concerned, Ben Howland really lit into his team about their poor defense. They were well aware, guys, that Washington State had not scored this many points in a half this season. And you notice on the floor right now, there's a change in the lineup. Malcolm Lee gets the start for the second half over Drew Holiday. His defense on Klay Thompson, I thought, was much better than Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday only played 9 minutes first half. Michael, thank you, and we're underway. The other big thing to watch, start second half, Aaron Baines, the Washington State center, has 3 fouls.
Well, Malcolm Lee deflected 2 Klay Thompson jump shots, so the length, his arm length is a problem for Klay Thompson.
Now Lee sets up Aboya. And Dragovic fights for the rebound.
Dragovic, once again, shooting the ball so well, you forget the fact that he's 6 feet 9 inches tall, so he is a load, a problem to block out on the inside because of that length of Caleb Forrest.
Van Howland barking out the play to his team to get their second chance. Ron Collison had the big man on him, went right by him.
And this is another area I think Tony Bennett needs to address. He is switching the ball screen 1 to 4. That's Dragovic and Collison. That's Rochester and Forrest on defense. I mean, you're going to have to trap that. You're going to have to stay with your own. You're going to have to do something different. Darren Collison exploits it, and Dragovic exploits it, rebounding and shooting over the top of Taylor Rochester.
That's the first UCLA lead since it was 12-11. Forrest shooting. Caleb Forrest now with 8 points.
Interesting, the UCLA student section did the old fake shot clock wind down routine where they make you think the clock is about to expire when there's actually about 4 seconds left, which kind of made Forrest shoot that a little quicker than he normally would, but he knocked it down. So it kind of backfired in the student section.
Chip goes into Baines. Tony Bennett is again livid. He's about as animated as I think I've seen Tony Bennett during the game.
I think Baines went down a little too easily for the refs.
And I thought, Marcus, Thursday night we were here for the Washington-UCLA game, and I was very happy to read the reactions afterwards of both teams. Both sides said they were very happy with the way the game was officiated because it basically to let the guys play. Yeah. It wasn't a whistle fest. And I like the fact even Washington that lost the game said afterwards, no, we like the way. We were just a little slow to recognize it, that's all.
See the defensive attention UCLA is about to give Klay Thompson his half. First to switch Holiday off of him on the bench. Malcolm Lee on him, and that time Malcolm Boyd did a great job contesting that jump shot. Klay Thompson's off the screen.
Collison gets inside. 2 hoops for Collison to start the half.
Washington State had better be careful. They shot the ball and scored in that first half at a 68% clip. I know that's not going to be happening here in the second half. So you've got to play a little bit better defense if you're Washington State.
That would help. Forrest knocked that shot down pretty consistently against UCLA in the game at Coleman.
19 points, a career high for Caleb Forrest in that game.
Dragovic going right at Forrest. Now Washington State, what they haven't been able to do here is get Klay Thompson going again. Thompson made his first 5 shots today. He's 1 for 4 since.
That coincided just about the time that Malcolm Lee came into the game and had the defensive assignment, picked it up for Drew Holiday, and again deflected 2 of his jump shots.
Chip all the way.
Once in transition. Tony Bennett talked to Michael Leaves about it. That was not off a turnover. That's a rebound and just beating Washington State down the floor.
Well, it's the biggest lead of the day for UCLA. 4 points. Forrest, he's got that shot. He had that shot the whole game in Pullman.
does a great job of getting his feet set while the ball is in the air. Ball in the air, you should be in the air as a shooter, and that's what he does, ready to get that second bounce. And again, it's a wide open 17-foot shot, and UCLA had better recognize he can knock that down and get somebody out there to contest that.
Morris has made 5 of 6 today. Ship with that baseline bounce.
UCLA 51, Washington State 46.
So Dragovich, 14 today for UCLA. The Bruins up 5.
Fans treat yourself with flowers ice cream.
It's that time of the year when you walk around the campus like this one at UCLA, you got all kinds of athletic events going on. Tennis matches here yesterday, baseball game played. UCLA, big second half up in Pullman.
Now you might need to use Klay Thompson as more of a decoy at some point. A little entanglement inside.
And Aboya is whistled for entangling Baines.
The senior Darren Collison doing a nice job of leading this UCLA basketball team this afternoon. Let's take a look at Darren Collison as he splits defenders, gets to the basket, strong, aggressive, and one. Turns the corner, high off the glass. Get down, Casto, get down! And once again, the little scoop number. Now you see me, now you don't. Darren Collison making himself felt as a presence in the paint.
Battle presented by Pizza Hut. Then Arizona State from a sold-out Tempe. And a Pac-10 battle presented by KFC. Coverage in high def begins at 7:30 Eastern. Our Pac-10 U.S. Bank Player of the Week is Arizona guard Nick Wise. What a pair of games he had against the Southern California schools, Mark.
Big shot with the score tied. Takes Daniel Hackett out of his shorts on that play, and this is why I think Arizona will win this game. It's the 215th meeting between these two teams. But Nick Wise playing out of his mind. Chase Budinger, since the facial delivered by Houston's Aubrey Coleman, has played out of his mind. Jordan Hill always a load inside, and that 1-1-3 zone defense just enough to keep James Harden off balance.
Did I hear that right? Why you think Arizona's going to win?
I think Russ Pennell and Mike Dunlap and staff keep it going. Reggie Geary, they've done a nice job over the past 3-4 weeks or so getting this team prepared to play. Good no call by the officials. Get up, boy.
Baines, look at Baines, and then finally Malcolm Lee took a big tomahawk swipe from behind in this call for his third foul, and that's may give Ben Howland some cause here to think Lee has got 3.
Martin and Barbara kind of the one who's chilled, kind of checking it out and watching. Martin is the emotional one, but I like the fact that, hey, you didn't get the call when Josh Shipp barreled into Aaron Baines at one end of the floor. Don't call a foul on Aaron Baines as he bowls over Alfred Aboya at the other end. I mean, both of them were flops. Both big guys went down a little too easily to be as big and as strong as they are.
This is really interesting, Marcus, because Malcolm Lee comes out of the game after 3 fouls, and Michael Rowe replaces him. No Drew Holiday.
Well, now you would, yeah, that is interesting. But you would think that Klay Thompson now, if he's active enough, Michael Rowe doesn't have the same presence defensively as Malcolm Lee or Drew Holiday. He should be able to get some looks, Klay Thompson, if they decide to go there. But not needed there.
15 points for the guard who's got 25 family members here today from Santa Barbara. Now, we met his dad earlier this year. Now, his dad's is a serious dude because he got 25 tickets for this game at Pauley Pavilion. Hey. How'd that happen?
Yeah. Boy.
And a rebound, Klay Thompson.
Dragovich, 6 3-pointers in Pullman all in the first half. They knocked down a deep corner jumper here, but let's see if he's able to sustain his hot shooting in this game. Darren Collison now responsible for the shadow job on Klay Thompson.
Boya with the steal. The Baines have been able to play 6+ minutes here of this half without a foul. Ship. And Boya gets out of trouble. Trying to go over the top. Oh, what a terrific catch. Gather and finish.
High-low, beautifully executed between Nikola Dragovich, who threw that pinpoint perfect. The only place that Aboya could have caught it. He threw it there. Aboya, nice job on the catch and finish inside. And again, Aaron Baines has got to be careful because of the foul situation.
Baines gets the bounce. I was going to say, Marcus, as much as we talk about Nikola Dragovic's shooting, it's clearly a weapon. His passing is awfully impressive.
Washington State now, first time in a long time I've seen him go to a zone, kind of a 1-2-2 zone, look to protect Baines a little bit more on the inside. But you're right, Nikola Dragovic, you think of him primarily as a long-range shooter. He brings that, but that and so much more. Shooting.
Well, that's why it used to be, you think, zone UCLA. Teams have tried it this year. Some have had success, but the way they're shooting, the way the Bruins are shooting the three.
Dragovic brings a whole other dynamic to the table. James Keefe was the starter, a banger, boarder. Dragovic is giving you great outside shooting, and he's banging and boarding also.
Chesty having a terrific game, and there's the knack that Rochesty has. He's not, doesn't look like he's quick of foot, but he has some little, he's got several gears that he uses. Yes.
Extremely crafty, the crafty lefty out of Santa Barbara. Played exceptionally well Conference USA as a freshman when he was down at Tulane before Hurricane Katrina hit. But the stage is set for this game to be a fight to the finish, the way both teams are playing right now, confidence-wise. I knew UCLA could bring it because they're at home. I was concerned about Washington State, but they have responded here in the second half without Klay Thompson.
Oh, nice job, Collison. And then Baines got in there for the block.
Quick off his feet, dropping 20 pounds. That's what it'll do for you. Not carrying that crocodile on his back anymore. He's getting up there.
Collison took advantage. There was a lane that opened to the goal, but Baines saved the day.
Josh Shipp chasing around Klay Thompson. Again, I think Washington State, Tony Bennett's staff has got to recognize that Klay Thompson's got an offensive-minded player, decent defender on him.
Just off Dragovic out of bounds, and that'll get us to a timeout. So we are just over 11 to play. Part of the J.D. Morgan Athletic Building, just across the street, or across the walkway rather, from Pauley Pavilion here on the UCLA campus, where the Bruins and their fans well aware today they're getting Washington State's best shot.
Yeah, they are. And I tell you, with Klay Thompson right now, Michael Rose defending. If I'm Tony Bennett, I'm running something special. There's one screen, two screens, three screens, slip, layup, great execution. Out of the timeout by Washington State, but Klay Thompson now all of a sudden, I think they look to try and free him up a little bit more, and if UCLA continues to pay that kind of defensive attention, those slips will be there.
Van Howland has gone to the bench. Collison is sitting. Dragovic sitting. Anderson shot blocked. Here comes Rochester.
Big, important stretch for Washington State with this UCLA unit on the floor.
Put back, Koprivica.
You got to rest those regulars. Now these guys, Drew Gordon, the commissioner, James Keefe, Michael Roll, they've got to lock down defensively. Jeremy Anderson in this situation, take care of the basketball. Don't force things in the middle like he did that last possession.
6 straight Washington State points.
How long can you keep Collison, Aboya, and crew out of this basketball game? Another minute at the most, depending on what transpires here.
Shipp into the paint, draws a foul. Baines is sitting right now for Washington State. The Cougars' foul is on Koprivica. There's Baines getting a breather. He's been able to survive this half so far with 3 fouls. The guy that never comes out, the Shipp goes to the line here, the guy that never comes out is Rochester. And we don't talk about this enough in the conference. Rochester's played more minutes than anybody. And this is Washington State's 15th conference game. And Rochester's missed a total of 32 minutes in 15 games. Missed 32 minutes. He's played 95% of the minutes.
And out of necessity for Washington State. But once again, offensively, what do you do to free? Here we go again. 1 screen, 2 screen. You look for a slip, no slip, but Klay Thompson gets the driving angle he wants, but doesn't finish on the shot. There's the adjustment by Tony Bennett to try and free up Klay Thompson just a bit more in this game.
Thompson has yet to score second half. Anderson off. And Washington State back with it. So the question really is where, Rochester lost the dribble. He just lost it, and Anderson alertly, when he saw that dribble get away from Rochester, he poked it away. Now Drew Holiday in the game. First time Holiday's played in a while.
Darren Collison crouched down at the scoring table. That was a big turnover by Taylor Rochester. Did not even get a shot off for Washington State at this crucial point in this basketball game.
Jeremy Anderson takes it in, wipes it out.
Wiped it out. Angelo Casto, freshman, Ken Washington, does a nice job. Shot blocker extraordinaire. Does a great job understanding that there's a time to block shots. There's a time to get some good position on the inside. Not sure if he was all the way set on that play, but gets a call to go his way anyway.
Casto inside.
It's a beautiful play, and that's a play I saw Dick Bennett run against UCLA about 4 years ago, where they spread everything out. You run some fake action on the strong side, looking for that slip for your big guy on the weak side.
As much as we talk about Klay Thompson, Marcus, Casto's going to be as big a player, maybe not quite as good a player, but he's going to be so big for Tony Bennett.
Oh, no question. Now UCLA, there's Darren Collison, kind of an unforced turnover for the Bruins.
Holiday's on the ball here. Holiday's got Rochester, carried it. So 2 Rochester turnovers, rare for him.
2 huge Rochester turnovers. No, you got to at least get a shot attempt every time you get the ball.
Now Larry Baines now gets a breather, but he's been able to stay in this game in the second half with 3 fouls, stay in the game with just for men hair color. And now Baines, after a couple minutes out, is in, and with 8 minutes to go, the fouls are no longer as big an issue.
Tie-in, but hey.
Yeah, well, listen,
we're creative here.
We are not above anything.
We are creative.
That's one word for it.
He's got to keep his team in the game, Aaron Baines, by not committing the silly foul and continuing to be aggressive when he catches the ball down on the box. That was close for Baines, contesting by Darren Collison. That would have classified as the silly foul. But now you got your lockdown guy, Malcolm Lee, back on Klay Thompson.
Timeout. So timeout taken by Tony Bennett. I always talk about, you hear the coaches talk about so much more valuing possessions. And you can sense Tony Bennett, after a couple of turnovers by his point guard, values this possession coming up.
Well, because they get 58 possessions, so few possessions per game, each and every one, especially now down the stretch. So crucial to Washington State's potential success.
Well, we've got a Pac-10 gem to wrap up the weekend tomorrow night. Nick Wise, point guard extraordinaire for Arizona, part of a trio of players that have lifted the Wildcats. They're pulling a Lazarus routine, and James Harden, most people feel the best player in the Pac-10, made Arizona State a national power again. They show down tomorrow night. It's sold out in Tempe, just under 14,000. You see at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here in HD.
But once again, with the attention James Harden will receive, someone else, a Rehard Kuksik, somebody's got to come through, Jeff Pendergraft, and have an outstanding offensive game for Arizona State to win it. Which they can do and have done.
So Cougars going bigger, Casto and Baines together.
Looks like on this possession, Rochester recognizes the shot clock is winding down. He's aggressive. He gets the foul call.
What a bailout foul there. That was going to be a shot clock violation. And Malcolm Lee, UCLA's freshman, picks up his 4th foul.
5 years ago, Ted, I saw Dick Bennett use this play here in Poly Pavilion, executed to perfection, except it was Kyle Weaver with the basketball. Now this is all kind of fake action on this side. Watch Casto set the screen. Hedge man Keith going to come out and try and prevent the pass, but that's going to leave Casto wide open on a little bit of a slip. Not much as Robbie Cowell did when he got that. Did when he got the pass from Kyle Weaver. He didn't slip, but did get a great job catching the basketball in great position. But that strong side action, the action the same side as the basketball, is all kind of misdirection, kind of diversionary tactics. It's a weak side that Washington State was attacking, did a beautiful job of that, and got the easy 2 inside for D'Angelo Casto.
right, so we'll be back here, and Taylor Rochester will go to the line after that last second shot clock foul against UCLA's Malcolm Lee. All right, so Michael Eaves, have you answered our question? How'd they get all these tickets?
Well, Ted, as you mentioned, the big family reunion here held actually in Los Angeles. His dad, Howard, got those 25 tickets. Now, one of the guys who got one of the premier tickets is his brother, Alex, seated right there in the first row of the Washington State section behind the bench. Now, you notice he's not wearing any Washington State colors. After the barbecue last night, he pulled Taylor aside and said, "Taylor, I need to talk to you." He's like, "What's up?" "I don't know what to wear for the game tomorrow. My last couple of costumes haven't given you guys good luck." So he came up with Taylor's high school warm-up jersey, the Santa Barbara Dons, and so far, guys, I think it's bringing a little better luck today.
It's good. Well, right now, Rochester's spearheading. It's a 10-1 run by the Cougars.
Yes, he is indeed. And again,
Dragovic.
so this is Dragovic. You know, what we saw in Pullman, the 6 3-pointers in the first half, and then the major cool-off down the stretch. And that's happened to Nikola Dragovic a lot this season. Not knocking it because he's brought a lot to the table. The UCLA's offensive droughts in the last 8 minutes or so of basketball games this season. They need everything.
And here's where we are now, 6 minutes without a basket for UCLA.
Nice
And
carry
suddenly,
pass.
it's an 8-point game.
Beautiful job, big to big. Aaron Baines, D'Angelo Casto finding each other on the inside. UCLA, again, this is one of these, this is the stretch where now all of a sudden you get a little tight.
And Dragovic hits the ground. 6.5 minutes since the last field goal.
Good find, Drew Holiday using his point guard skills. Float that one over the top. Nikola, nice up fake, frees the shot blocker Casto and get that thing off quickly.
And look where Holiday is, right where he started the game.
But I can guarantee you with a lot more focus and a lot more purpose.
Thompson sets up Koprivica. Casto stays with it.
That's the key word right there, Ted. I mean, UCLA defenders on him like pit bulls on a pork chop, but pokes the ball free right back to Casto. Goes up strong that second time around. Holiday almost a turnover. Trying to find a boy who was shut down on the inside.
Body foul there, and that's going to be Baines' fourth. Look at Rochester. And Rochester came very close there. And like Mark Reichley, veteran official, said something and backed Rochester off. Michael Greenstein had a very good time. Fourth foul on Baines. It's only the second foul in the second half against Washington State.
But Darren Collins, a nice job again, just attack. We've seen the point guards a lot. This is what point guards are taught to do. Attack the body of the big when he jumps out the hedge and stops you from turning the corner.
13 now for Darren Collison. UCLA will take a timeout.
UCLA 61.
In a 6-point game, 5 minutes remaining. Plus 2 seconds, and we're just a couple of weeks away now from the entire Pac-10 Conference returning to Los Angeles for the Pacific Light Pac-10 Men's Tournament. Our coverage begins in high definition right here Wednesday, March 11th. 2 games Wednesday, 4 games Thursday, 2 games on Friday. Right here, Pauley Pavilion, and this is one of those stories that's become very relevant right now. In Pauley Pavilion's history, Washington State's record in this building is 1 win, 51 losses. 1 win.
Yeah, I was here for that
51
one.
losses here at Pauley Pavilion. Last year, when they were 4-5 in the country, this is the kind of game Washington State dreamt about playing. It didn't happen. UCLA smothered.
They did, but again, this is the kind of game I expected. As I talked about in the open, I thought it was going to be extremely competitive just based on Tony Bennett's style of coaching his team in their practice yesterday. Stern, no goofing off, no joking around, all serious business, and it has had an effect on his team.
Thompson missing, and that big. Castro was up, but just missed time. And UCLA back. Look at Collison setting up Ship.
Ship with the obligatory shot fake that UCLA perimeter players oftentimes employ. Good job staying down by the Washington State defender.
Collison starting to take over.
I mean, you're almost better off giving Collison about a 5-foot cushion and just inviting him to take a jump shot. I mean, but that's a lot easier said than done. He is so good at getting low to the ground and finding seams.
Rochestie! 22 for Taylor Rochestie.
Big time shot for Taylor Rochestie, and he talks about the importance of playing against UCLA. Doesn't hide the fact that his assistant coach in high school was a UCLA guy. He would love nothing better than to go out as a senior, winning here in Pauley Pavilion, beating UCLA for the first time for him.
Collison didn't take Forrest. He popped over it.
Well, there's a cushion. Forrest is back completely off. Made him knock down. You got to force him to knock down some jump shots. If you do it, you slap him on the butt, say tough shot in a tough situation.
Remember, Rochestie has not been off the floor. He's played almost all 37 minutes.
There's a shot for him there if he wants it.
He tried to give it. He tried to give it to Forrest. It was kicked by UCLA. But Taylor Rochestie, with the games ticking down on his college career, trying to post one of the biggest wins he's enjoyed as a player. What a stunner they have a chance to pull off in our World Financial Group Dreams Realized. Your dreams, our strategy. Subject Taylor Rochestie is a big part of it. McLovin, I like that. And you know, Marcus, it's interesting. Every player, I think, reaches that point that Rochestie's talked about. You start realizing there's only a handful of games left in your college career.
Yeah, and you want to maximize each and every one in terms of your performance as a player. He has done that, 4 or 5 straight games, 15-plus points. He's really turned around a season that started off as a struggle offensively, and he has hit the big shots, big free throws, made the big plays. He's had a couple of uncharacteristic, unforced turnovers, but he is more than made up for that with the shots and plays he's hit here over the last 3 or 4 possessions.
All right, Michael Leaves heard the UCLA huddle. Michael?
Yeah, Ted, in that last time Ben Howland told the guys, said, look, guys, we have plenty of time to come back and win this game, but we can't allow them to score, obviously, very many points down the rest of the stretch. He also said we have to extend our range on Rochestie. Even if he goes out to 25 or 27 feet, guard him tightly. He's made too many shots down the stretch.
You got to guard him tightly. I think you got to pressure him more as he brings the ball up the floor also.
Collison held Rochestie on the first inbounds play and picked up a foul. 5 team fouls UCLA, 2 on the Cougars. Thompson still has not scored second half. Offense or a rebound foul rather on Washington State.
Yep, Baines.
And it is Baines.
Rebounding foul, and Aaron Baines is outing.
Well, Baines survived a long time, but has picked up 2 quick fouls here at the end.
A little too aggressive, and as a coach, you can't complain. You get too upset. I mean, it's a situation where he's going aggressively after a rebound. Sometimes they call him, sometimes they don't.
And like Rochestie, Aaron Baines, the game's ticking down on his career. His parents here to watch the final stages.
The big boy could be satisfied that while on the floor, despite the foul trouble, major contributor to Washington State being in a position, 7 points up, 2:50 left, to come in here and do what they felt like they could do based on their practices yesterday.
13 points, 6 rebounds today for Baines.
What the offensive rebounding and post-up of Nikola Dragovich against Taylor Rochestie. Rochestie got to play big and really do a good job keeping Dragovich off the boards.
Great shot fake there by Schiff.
There's that shot fake. I mean, again, it's not done with the intent so much as to get a guy off his feet. It's just something that UCLA does, but it has the effect where guys bite on it all the time. Pass to Josh Schiff, shot fake. Taylor Porras out of position, trying to close out, opens up the driving lane. It's just amazing what that simple shot fake will do for you each and every time you catch the basketball.
Well, 70-65. I mentioned earlier that in conference play, Washington State only averages 57 points a game. UCLA 75 a game, so the game's heading to UCLA's number. At home this year, on this court, the Bruins have averaged 82 points a game. Only 60 points a game on the road. Speaks to the dramatic difference in the way UCLA plays.
Indeed, and right now, though, for UCLA, they are picking up full court. We talked about earlier, extending their pressure, 94 feet, denying the basketball.
And a steal, yes, Lee Schiff. Miss, tip miss.
Denying the basketball to Taylor Rochester. Had everything they wanted, but the end result. And here's Rochester.
Oh, and what a dagger!
Here's Rochester.
What a dagger that could be.
Extracting payment from UCLA for not converting on the easy layup after the turnover force. Great job, Malcolm Lee. Josh Chip converging on the basketball. Josh just overlays it. And at the other end, Taylor Rochester with the daggerization three-pointer from deep.
Look at Bro.
Look at Alex. Alex doing the Rochester jig.
Woo. The officials just checked and ensured that it was a three. 25 for Rochester. We saw his career-high game a month ago. He had 30 at Oregon, but he did 16 of that from the foul line.
16 of 16 free throws.
A lot of it down the stretch. This has been, to me, it's been a more impressive game.
Oh, no, hands
25,
down.
But in this venue?
Well, and you know, Oregon has yet to win a game in Pac-10 play this season. This is UCLA, a team in terms of in the loss column at the top of the Pac-10 standings.
And Dragovich has tied his career high. He's had 2 20-point games against Washington State.
You know, Nikola Dragovich, you got to defend him like you're his Siamese twin. You know, you got to be stuck to him, up on him, and you know, you can't separate the two.
That's a good thought.
You know what I mean? You got to just too much room. And I understand Caleb Forrest trying to stop penetration, but the two-pointer obviously going to hurt you. The three-pointer really hurt you in that situation. But let's give Dragovich a lot of credit for knocking down that shot in that situation. But defensively, that's a breakdown.
Well, UCLA has just taken its final timeout. No surprise to veteran UCLA watchers that this would be the case. And you can see one thing that is going to give Tony Bennett an edge is that foul count.
Yeah.
He has 3. If they need them, they can foul 3 times to, in essence, prevent shots.
Yes, and we will see just how judiciously he uses those 3 fouls here down the stretch. And Ben Holland, we talked about the no timeouts. Tony Bennett's got 3. In this situation, he'll probably use, I would suspect, all 3 of those. So that'll give UCLA a chance to huddle and regroup free throws, gives them another opportunity to do the same. But right now, defensive pressure to the nth degree for UCLA, try and force another turnover. And I like what the Bruins did on that previous turnover. 2 players converging on Taylor Rochester to deny him the basketball.
UCLA really needs it. They need this one just as much as they needed Thursday night to keep their hopes alive on 4th consecutive Pac-10 championship. Washington State has only won 1 game in the school's history at UCLA. Timeout. Rochester got a timeout.
There's that aggressive pressure. The UCLA bench calling for a traveling violation. I thought Rochester did a good job holding that pivot foot. And good presence of mind, knowing that you've got a timeout to burn, so you don't have to worry about being under duress defensively too much.
See where the standings are. 4 teams, 4 losses. 3 of them play today. UCLA is the first of them. Arizona State plays tomorrow night. Washington State still has a slight chance, but not a great chance of getting out of that first night of the tournament. Looks like they'll be in the 7-10 bracket.
Yeah, for Washington State right now, I mean, as you mentioned, I mean, they still have a slight chance, but a lot of this now is just kind of pride, finishing up strong, and you'll get it. You know, if you can get a winning record overall, it's going to be a tough road for them also. But you may get some postseason.
And that's what Tony Bennett talked about today, Marcus. He said, that we're still hopeful of getting into one of them. There's another one this year. It's a new postseason tournament. It's been added.
I would put them in regardless. I mean, just based on Tony Bennett, what he's done. Oh, nice
Great
find.
play. Thompson. Save to Casto.
Doesn't have to shoot it.
Block Dragovich.
Doesn't have to shoot that.
Out of bounds stays Cougars.
That's what the problem with freshmen is that they're young, and I thought that ball looked like it was off a Washington State player. That's what Ben Howland thought also. But Klay Thompson kind of slowed up at midcourt. If he would have sprinted after that long baseball pass, he would have had an uncontested dunk to give his team a 7-point lead.
UCLA, you see how aggressive, and they're starting to really get physical.
Yeah, well, you got the ball where you want it right now. Cooper beats it now. Klay Thompson to Caleb Forrest now. Taylor Rochester, definitely.
Look at Rochester!
Definitely.
A Santa Barbara volleyball tip.
This is where you want the basketball.
Collison.
Aaron Collison, right back at you.
What a terrific final 5 minutes this is turning into, and Malcolm Lee has just fouled out for UCLA.
Malcolm Lee a little aggressive on the denial of Taylor Rochester. But talk about Taylor Rochester and just how badly he wants this game. The runner going to miss, and he just elevates up and over Alfred Aboya and the taller Bruins on the inside. As the shooter, you have a better idea than anyone else where that miss is going to come off. And then here's Darren Collison showing the ice water in his veins to knock down the pressure-packed three-pointer to pull his team to within 4 points.
This is just really good stuff. Really good stuff there. And perhaps surprising the way Washington State's been going. I'm not sure how many people thought we'd have this kind of game.
I mean, only if you saw him practice yesterday, you realize just the intensity and focus that this team exhibited. There's some quick hands in there, almost a turnover created.
Well, that's a good call right in front of us. Josh Shipp, clearly last man to touch that. Rochester screaming for a foul.
But Taylor Rochester complaining to the official about the contact. You can't worry. He's pulled down, yanked down, grabbed, spit on. You can't worry about that right now if you're Taylor Rochester. Slow down, take care of the basketball. UCLA, keep that all out aggressive and try to come up with the turnover.
Great angle by our cameraman there to show you Shipp was the last man to touch. Poked away. Collison, block.
That's a good block.
And Koprivica.
They got to lay up at the other end if you'll give it up.
Look at the scrambling. Frenetic. Collison. Thompson rebounds. And finally, Rochester is fouled. What a 30-second sequence there.
What a scramble. What intensity exhibited by both basketball teams. Darren Collison thinks he's got something. Klay Thompson, the long arm of the law, saying no way, no how. And then Koprivica, as he pushes it out of the pack, had two wide open teammates standing under the basket for uncontested layups or dunks. Didn't get the basketball up, wound up turning it over to Nikola Dragovic as the Bruins go the other way. Just a crazy sequence of plays.
Tony Bennett, finally, what he did, he looked down his court, he saw a bunch of his own guys bent over. So he said, I think maybe I should take a timeout here.
Yeah, just settle things down.
Wow.
Gotta get my point across to my guys here. But here's the turnover here, key moment in this game. Josh Shipp gonna have a point-blank layup coming in. Just overlays that thing, rolls around the lip. Klay Thompson gets it back. Then Rochester, the daggerization three-pointer.
Well, that's about that's about 2 minutes ago, but how big does that sequence loom right here?
It is huge. It is huge. That missed layup. It's a 5-point. You get 2 at your end. You give it 3 at the other end. 5-point swing in this game.
And again, that fouls is so huge because UCLA's got to score quickly. Washington State can foul them. They can make them chew up more time.
And Josh Shipp, I'm sure if he had it to do over again, he would have threw that thing down with the tomahawk dunk. And you want to be sure, and I can understand his thinking. Not get too flashy, but man, you want to do everything you can to make sure you just lay that thing in the cylinder if you're not throwing it down hard with gusto.
There's the number 10 foul shooter in America. We have the number 1 foul shooter in America here as well in Collison, but Rochester is 10th in the country at 89.
And just get the sense he is so into closing his deal. He's not going to miss those. Now Marcus Caper's in the game, another perimeter defender. He's matched up with Nikola Dragovic.
Washington State, remember, they can foul. Collison gets the shot. Aboya again. No timeouts, UCLA.
Turnover. Almost.
No.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. Woo. Turnover almost committed by Washington State. Nikola Dragovic. With the Collison drive inside. Tough shot on the miss. Great rebound in the crowd. And Aboya with the second effort gets it to fall in. And Washington State dodges a major bullet on the inbounds try.
Taylor Rochester has scored the last 10 points for Washington State. The last 10, and is going to get a shot to add 2 more.
Big question now with Taylor Rochester. You talked about him.
Yes, you know where you're going.
No breather, no blow. Played the whole game. And not only played the whole game, but he has just played so hard the whole game. But in particular, the last 5 to 6 minutes of this game, being pressured, having to try and dribble around 2 or 3 defenders in the backcourt. Tony Bennett just looks over here and shakes his head. But Taylor, he is on one right now.
Well, it's fitting for Taylor Rochester. Here in Southern California, a career-high 31 points. He scored the last 12 for his team.
UCLA, you don't have to take the 3. I like this. You go attack the basket. And then you continue to play the foul game. Got to foul him early.
Casco's going to the line, but that is if you're UCLA. That's a benefit. Anybody but Rochester, basically. And Casco is only 62%.
I understand Rochester's thinking. You see your guy wide open, but he'd almost been better served just to hold on to that thing.
Well, this is a 2-shot foul.
And that's why. You got a free throw shooter.
Now, Marcus, I got to ask you, should Tony Bennett, should his team, they've got 3 fouls to give here with only 18 seconds.
Still got 3 fouls to give.
To give?
I mean, the only concern would be, you don't want to foul a guy in the act of shoot a 3-point shot.
No, that's for sure. Say foul right there. Just to make them use more time. A line drive by Schiff.
Foul and reset.
Stays Washington State ball. I know college teams don't work on this a lot, Marcus, but like I say, if you're Washington State, you've got to use some of these fouls.
You
can't let UCLA shoot the ball like that.
Yeah, but the game situation and the mindset of players and then making the right decision in the heat of action. Wow, almost a traveling call.
Man, I'll tell you. What another incredibly difficult block charge to have to make.
Yeah, you're right. And just see how many of these free throws, clutch free throws, can Taylor Rochester? There's the turn 1-2. I mean, that thing was close to being a traveling violation on Taylor Rochester. But he's got to be so fatigued at this point. A little bit of rim, but still gets it to fall.
One of the great individual performances we've seen this year. He has scored the last 14 points for his team.
Now, like you said, the foul to give. You can foul now, make him take the basketball back out of bounds. That's
it's a 1-point game. And they'll foul Koprivica, who's only 56%.
Another one of the.
Dragovic has a career-high 23. Rochester a career-high 33. What a fabulous final 10 minutes of this game.
Nikola's Dragovic with the big deep 3-pointer. Now Nikola Koprivica with the biggest 2 probably of his career at Washington State. No timeouts for UCLA, which puts them at a serious disadvantage. Still got a foul to give, I believe, for Washington State in this situation, which I don't know if you want to use. You got no timeouts for UCLA. This is
Washington State trying to win in Los Angeles for just the 2nd time ever. He missed that on purpose. Chip blocked by Thompson, and Washington State has stunned UCLA.
Stunned this Pauley Pavilion crowd. Washington State, they'll give them all the credit in the world, especially Taylor Rochester, the heart and soul of this victory for the Washington State Cougars, making the plays that needed to be made down the stretch.
Just 2 wins ever at Pauley Pavilion, and this one goes to Taylor Rochester.
The senior from Santa Barbara, about 2 hours north of Pauley Pavilion, comes in before 25 family and friends at a family reunion and makes Pauley Pavilion his home away from home. That tap in right there off the missed runner, just a play for the ages, gives you an idea of what kind of an afternoon he's had.
A career-high 33 for Taylor Rochester. Washington State stuns UCLA.